When Michael Hartley walked into the towering oak-paneled law office that cold Monday morning, he never imagined he was about to witness one of the most uncomfortable scenes of his life. The room was filled with distant relatives, well-dressed, polished, eyes gleaming with the hunger of inheritance. At the center of the long mahogany table sat a woman who looked heartbreakingly out of place. She was in her late 50s, wearing a faded floral dress and shoes that had clearly seen better days. Her hands twisted nervously in her lap, and she looked like she would rather be anywhere else. Her name was Ruth. The will was that of Walter Pembroke, a wealthy businessman known for his sprawling estate and controversial family feuds. Ruth had been his housekeeper for 25 years, a quiet, steadfast presence in a world of greed and shifting alliances. As the lawyer cleared his throat and began reading, the tension in the room became thick enough to cut with a knife. Every name was read with mechanical coldness, bequeathing small trinkets, token checks, and dusty heirlooms. The relatives barely masked their disappointment. Then, a snide voice cut through the silence. "And what's she doing here?" A thin, sharp woman sneered, jerking her thumb toward Ruth. Laughter trickled around the room. Another chimed in, probably hoping for some hand-me-down aprons. Ruth flushed crimson, sinking lower in her chair, visibly shrinking from the ridicule. The lawyer hesitated, uncomfortable, but said nothing. Michael, who barely knew Walter but had been a longtime friend of his late wife, felt something inside him tighten. He couldn't stand bullies, and he certainly couldn't stand by now. Without thinking, he stood up. "Enough," he said, his voice steady but firm. "She was here when most of you weren't. She worked for Mr. Pembroke for decades, probably knew him better than any of us. Show some respect." A heavy silence fell. For a moment, nobody moved. Ruth blinked up at him, a mix of gratitude and surprise swimming in her eyes. The lawyer cleared his throat again, adjusting his glasses. His next words changed everything. "To my dear friend Ruth Andrews," he read aloud, "who showed me kindness not because of who I was, but despite it, I leave the entirety of my estate. The house, the lands, the accounts, everything." The room erupted into chaos. Shouts, gasps, accusations of forgery flew through the air like daggers. One man knocked over his chair in anger. Another threatened to sue. But Ruth just sat there, frozen, her hands trembling in her lap. Michael reached out, steadying her gently. Her eyes met his, and in that one glance was a flood of disbelief, joy, and overwhelming emotion. Walter had seen her worth when no one else had. And now, in death, he had given her the life she had never dared to dream of. In the weeks that followed, Ruth's life transformed overnight. But she didn't let the sudden wealth change her spirit. She renovated a local shelter, funded scholarships for underprivileged kids, and continued to volunteer at the small community library every Thursday afternoon. When asked why she didn't move to a mansion or travel the world, she simply smiled and said, "Because I was happy with little. Now, I just have more to give." As for Michael, Ruth made sure he was never far. She insisted he take the old carriage house on the estate property, rent-free. "It's nice," she said one evening, handing him the key with a wink, "to have good people close by." Their unlikely friendship became a legend in their small town, a reminder that sometimes it's the simplest acts of kindness, the ones you think no one notices, that echo the loudest.